Now they're in a complete panic and making mistakes left and right. The pressure is on. And a little spoiler ahead, what they're doing right now will have fatal consequences. And not just for the voters, as we've seen again today in the election polls. No, also fatal consequences for the CSU. Because the CDU is already up in arms again and deeply divided because of the Merz controversy. And I would say tonight there's another summary that really can't be topped in terms of explosive power. And if you'd like to support this channel, I would really appreciate a like and a subscription.
The CSU veteran Peter Gauweiler has reignited discussions about the CSU appearing nationwide. He is now making a new proposal. The CSU should run together with the Free Voters as a joint list throughout Germany under one name, namely Alliance Free Voters CSU.
Yes, even in the GMS poll, the CDU is suddenly collapsing now. I really have to say it, a huge disaster that's causing more and more panic. That's why they specifically waited for GMS, which always reports so favorably for the CDU. Now the CDU is at 23 and the fire has broken out and it's completely out of control. Now they're panicking that they won't make it over the 5% threshold in Germany. And what that means for you or what that means for the CSU specifically, I've already explained several times in multiple videos. What it means when a party, in this case, doesn't make it past the 5% threshold and the CDU, well, they're going under. So now they've thought, well, before we run the whole party into the ground, let's just team up with the Free Voters. Then we'll definitely get enough votes. And now we're giving the baby a completely new name.
The goal is to unite conservative votes and weaken the AfD. Gauweiler points to Bavaria as a model where the CSU and Free Voters have already cooperated successfully.
Yes, and how successful that is, unfortunately, we can't tell you at the moment because there are no current election forecasts. So, since the union lost so much support and suddenly the CSU urgently wants to team up with the Free Voters, we haven't gotten any new polls that would help us understand what's going on right now. But I do know from data sets that these polls have definitely been conducted, just like in Saxony-Anhalt. Only those who commissioned the polling simply aren't releasing their numbers. They just don't want to tell us what the polls look like and whether the CSU is even above 5% anymore, or if they should actually be extremely worried right now that in the next election, for example, if there are new elections or a vote of confidence, they will end up losing a huge number of voters.
He has lost his nerve, he has lost the country, and now he's losing his own party. Friedrich Merz, 78% of Germans don't want him anymore.
And I hope you'll be in Berlin on June 8th as well and finally show these people that Germans are fed up with these constant quarrels. And because Friedrich Merz obviously knows that, he made a gigantic move today. You will never believe what he did today. He went to Lübke's grave and presented it as a memorial for German democracy, saying that this must never happen again. And that he absolutely has to remain Chancellor because he will save the German people. Well, okay, I think that was probably one of the last moves that Friedrich Merz has prepared. Why? Well, Olaf Scholz has already been through that too, the last desperate attempts. And I think next Monday, this person will probably be brought back to reality that Germany has had enough. So here's the question. Without showing anything here right now, I'll do that in the next few days. Are you going to be in Berlin on June 8th or not?
If we just look at what has happened in the 2 weeks since the Villa Borsig, it's an erosion of a chancellor's authority that I, at least, can't remember ever happening within just 2 weeks. Just a few days ago, he suffered a defeat in the Bundesrat because of a lack of communication with his own people through the Chancellor's office, where the state premiers supposedly acted without the Chancellor's office even having the slightest idea.
And because they've learned from this fact, they're now trying to keep things quiet. Or did you hear anything from West today? So, as before, I've checked everything again on my end, and as far as I know, I haven't seen or read anything where he distanced himself from wanting to topple Merz if the elections are lost. Question: apart from Welt and ARD, who just broadcasted it, have you heard anything else today? Or are they keeping completely silent? And you could almost say the CDU's shroud of silence still hasn't quite descended. That would actually describe it perfectly. And I mean, Hendrik West posted some really great pictures showing how well North Rhine-Westphalia is taken care of, cooking shows with Muchak Turk, I hope I pronounced that right, and soccer. He also brought up Podolski. Not a word, not a single word did he say, either live on TV or anywhere else that I could find, that he still supports Friedrich Merz. I mean, hey, this guy, he's sitting up front too. Up front in the Bundesrat, having to manage and control everything, and he's one of the most powerful men in Germany. And how would it actually feel if he were to support the most unpopular second-choice Chancellor who only got into office with the help of the left? And now has to demonstratively show the Germans that he's veering to the left and not to the right. So, the statement about Walter Lübcke today.
How genuine is this unity? Was there a certain tension in the air during their first joint appearance since the reports? Last week, there were reports that the CDU was considering replacing the Chancellor. Wüst was mentioned as a possible successor.
He had that same forced smile as after the Villa Borsig, so I still don't know what happened there today. I also don't know what he discussed. That happens under absolute secrecy. I only know they didn't release a press statement. Nobody knows anything. I'm definitely going to watch public TV tonight to see if maybe they'll release something that gives us any clues. However, I also have to say they've got the Fumen on their plates now. They got the palm. And that's the most, because the support behind this Chancellor will keep disappearing in the next few days. Why? Well, Sasha, just take a quick look.
Mandatory military service for reservists that he is planning.
Previously, the SED politician had announced a draft law in which employers' approval would no longer be required when releasing reservists from work.
The approval from employers. This is going to come back to bite him. So, at the end of the day, it could mean, for example, that the military says, hey, we're going to hold a large-scale exercise for reservists. By the way, I actually took part in one of those back then. That was quite a while ago when I was still in the military myself. And back then, they just said, we're going to do a 5-day exercise. I don't even know if that's still a thing today. And you're just gone for 5 days. And if your boss happens to have a lot of work at that time, well, tough luck. You're just not at the company then. And that's obviously great for planning, especially for people who have been in the German military. Yeah, it looks pretty bad. And that's definitely going to really upset some medium-sized business owners again. And since Germany has to become military ready, man, it's probably going to happen that there will be a few more people who, I have to tell you, will take part in these exercises and then simply won't show up at work. And the only question is, how much advance notice do you actually give your boss? And I mean, a trades business that's fully booked for 3, 4, 5, 6 months can handle it if the news just comes in like that. Yeah, in 6 weeks, we're doing a military exercise in Lithuania. What's going on here? You couldn't make this stuff up anymore. Yeah, oh yeah, and at the same time, there are numbers showing that more and more German professionals, well-trained, highly educated people are complaining that they can't find a job here anymore. And the emigration rate last year was at an all-time high. Never before have 286,000 people left this country in a single year. It just doesn't stand out that much. Why not? Oh, because just as many people are immigrating, maybe even a few more.